At Evernorth Health Services, we believe costs shouldn't get in the way of life-changing care, and we're doing everything in our power to make it possible. Behavioral health solutions that also keep your projections at their best? It's possible. Pharmacy benefits that benefit your bottom line? It's possible. Complex specialty care that cares about your ROI? It's possible. Because we're already doing it. All while saving businesses billions. That's Wonder made possible. Learn more at evernorth.com/wonder.
We're not against rap. We're not against rappers. But we are against those.
Something big about to happen. I hear the beat tapping. We some fly rhyming felines rapping on the track. Better yet, grab a gat, cause we hot like Enzo. Doors closed, windows up, cause that's the way we like to ride. Windy City hitting. Check mic 1 2 1 2. We live, baby. Hey Chicago, and welcome back to Speak Your Mind Radio. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Queen Star, aka Miss Hip Hop. And tonight, y'all, we have a dope author in the house. He is based out in New York, but by the way of California, okay? And he's here to discuss his brand new book, Soaring Bird. So, without further ado, bringing up next to the mic, my boy, Authentic Berns.
Hello, love. Hi.
How you doing?
I am doing very well. Thank you for that introduction.
Oh, for sure. You know, I had to give you your props, you know?
I appreciate it.
For sure.
How have you been?
I've been very, very good. Thank you for asking.
Yes, of course. How you are as well is important to me.
Oh, you're so sweet. And this is actually getting into the icebreaker question for you. How do you deal with people's lower vibrations? Like, what is your remedy for that?
I have a cap. So pretty much when I encounter people who have like a lower vibration, I would try to assist with raising that vibration just because I don't necessarily want to lower myself. However, if I realize that they want to stay within that low vibration, that's perfectly fine. I'm just going to remove myself from the equation just because I don't need that sticking onto me.
Exactly. I heard that.
So setting a boundary.
Setting boundaries are extremely important. So.
Look, I don't think many of us set them often, especially with like our core group. And I think that's one of the most important groups to set a boundary with are like your family members, your immediate family members, your best friends, your partners, things of that sort. The boundaries need to be set.
That's true. Yeah, that was great advice from Authentic Berns. You guys can take heed to that. All right, so why don't you like introduce yourself to the people out there, the listeners, the viewers, and tell them a little bit about yourself as a person and an entertainer.
Oh my goodness. I feel like that question is always so like hard to answer because I'm like, girl, where do I start? Because I'm like, I'm a lot, but I am fun. My name is, you can call me Authentic Berns. You can call me Bernard. You can call me Honeybee, whichever one you choose. Just don't be disrespectful.
Yeah, man.
As far as like me as a person, I am an artist. I am a creator. I am a creative. I am all of those things. I very much so tap into my moon energy and get into my intuitive self and let my creative side just flow. I am originally from Los Angeles, moved to New York almost 5 years ago.
Wow.
I had no idea I was going to be here for that long, but I am here. And during a pandemic, on top of which, like, I stayed and didn't even go home. And so many of my friends was like, boop, we out. But yes, I am a dancer. I am a poet. I am I'm an actor. I dabble in the singing realm, but like, I'm not really a singer, but I'm gonna just claim my little notes that I can hit while I'm
okay.
Here, you know?
Okay. I'm gonna test that out. Have a whole talent show.
Look, I'd be down to like try it out. If it's like a talent show, I'd be like, okay, because this is like a fun moment. And if I mess up, it's cool, whatever. But on here, I do also low-key, as a hobby, I be thinking I'm a rapper sometimes. So I'll be like trying to write bars. I actually wrote bars today.
Oh, okay.
Sitting here, I like just got a new apartment and I'm living here with a friend. We just signed recently together. So I'm like so hyped just because the space feels mad creative already. Like the energy in here feels so bright. So I'm really excited to see what like comes out of that. But rapping is something that I do like to do on my own, because I'm like, I'm not nobody's lyricist in that sense, like, you know, like spitting actual bars.
Exactly.
But every once in a while, I do my thing. I try to do what I can do. But yes, I am just an eclectic being. I am myself. I am authentic in who I am. I present myself as I am. I do consider myself to be non-binary. That is how I identify. But as far as my pronouns, I am not particular. You can call me he, her, or that bitch. I do not like mind. Because at the end of the day, I'm a part of the gender spectrum. So I'm like, you might see me with a beard one day and I get it and maybe I look a little trained. Maybe. Unless I pop on some hoops. Then you're going to be a little confused. Then you hear me talk, you're like, okay, got you. But like, there's a lot to me, but I have no desire to hide that person. And that is just because, you know, I came here to do something, like, and it wasn't to be boxed in. I know that wasn't it. So
no, that's right.
I'm just like, I'm gonna go ahead and do me, which is ironic because that is how apparently I inspire people, which I've recently had to come to accept. Which is, I inspire people literally by being me. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, all right. So that's a little about me.
That's a lot. I mean, in this book that you wrote, Soaring Bird, it explains the many layers that you have to yourself and how you relate to people. It's like your gift. Like you know what people feel, you know how people should feel, you know, and you relate to them so well. This book was incredible. And I took my time reading it, man. I swear to God I did. And God, just let me go straight into it. One of my favorite poems in here, and I felt like you were reading my thoughts too. It's called Scattered.
Yes, I remember writing that.
You gotta tell me, like, what were you thinking when you were scatterbrained when you wrote this, weren't you?
I was like, it was funny because I read that poem the next day to one of my friends, and literally she was like, okay, but can you explain the title to me? And I was like, scattered? She was like, yeah. I was literally scattered.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was laying in my bed. It was I wrote Scattered at the same time that I believe I wrote 347. And yes, but I wrote Scattered first. Yes, I'm pretty sure I wrote Scattered first. And so, or did I title it 349? See, I don't even know. Let me check. Let me do my research really quick.
Because I didn't remember a 347 in there. I'm like, it
could have been 349, but the thing is, hold on, where is she? Ooh, hold on.
Oh, it's called 349.
349, thank you.
Yes.
So 349. Look, y'all, even the artists sometimes be forgetting they work.
Thank you. Exactly.
But I legit just write all the time. So I will sometimes forget what I even write or when I wrote something, but I tend to always remember where I wrote them, which is my most important thing. That's the most important thing for me. Like, I don't care about any of the details except for where was I and how was I when I wrote them. So when I wrote Scattered, I was legit in my bed. I couldn't sleep. It was, again, I typically wake up between the hours of like 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. And I'd just be like, I'll sometimes just be awake. Sometimes like I'll wake up and need to dance. Sometimes I'll wake up and legit just write out a poem really quick and then just like fall back to sleep. There's a lot that happens. Sometimes I'll wake up and just sit there and I'm like, girl, go to sleep. And so when I was writing Scattered, I was legit just sitting there and there was thought after thought after thought after thought after thought that just kept jumping up. And I was like, what is this? This is a mess. And then I started judging the thoughts. And then I had just got some new sheets as well from Bed Linen. Was it Bed Linen? Yes, it was Bed Linen. And the sheets felt real cute against my body and stuff too. So I was like, ooh, this is nice. So I was legit I was writing something, and then I just started thinking about something else. And I was like, you know what, girl? Go with it. Just go with it. Say whatever comes out. And I was legit just writing about being scattered. And then as I continued to write, that's when it developed. And it was just like, girl, your brain do be everywhere, and people do be mad confused when they get to you. They don't even know what to call you. So that's how that came about. But then it was just like, I started judging myself for having all these thoughts that weren't organized. And I was like, girl, you need to be organized. You're a Capricorn. Aren't you supposed to be organized? Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? Stop judging yourself, girl. Just love on you. And that's it. And then I was just like, okay, cute. That's how I'm gonna end it. Whatever.
Well, that was a good poem, how you wrote it and everything. So would you say like your writing method is kind of like freestyling?
Absolutely 100%. My writing is like basically nothing but freestyle. Majority of the, like, no, not majority. I'm not going to say that. I would say it. Okay. If I'm thinking right now, I'm going to say a third. About a third of my writing kind of sort of starts off is like raps almost. I love rap music. Like, I think rap in general is just like amazing. And I've always listened to it. Like, I think, I mean, it don't matter, but world don't shame my family. But I like the earliest rap I remember listening to was No Nan with Trina and Trick Daddy. And I was like 7. And I was like, and I knew the lyrics. And I was just like spitting. And I don't know why, but I loved it. And I was here for it. Then I ended up finding my cousins, they were all older than me. So they ended up putting me on the Foxy Brown. So then I'm listening to Trina and Foxy. So then then I started listening to Tupac, and then I was like, okay, but then I more so fit with the feminine energy. So I just steered and went back that way. Right. But I've always loved rap music. And so like, one of my favorite, and I also like people who are poets and rappers all together, because I kind of feel like there still is a correlation, if you will. So of like, Jill Scott is one of my favorite, like, is lyricist, period. Like, when Jill Scott speaks, I'm like, yeah, let me take notes. Just on like the delivery, on like the confidence, on like the word usage. And I'm like, ooh, okay, great. Because there's some way that like Jill Scott, I feel like she's rapping, and she takes her words and she paints, but it's as if she's painting and taking you on that painting journey with her, where you're like, it's that. So that's what inspires me to try to do with my writing as well. I was like, I want you to flow with me.
Oh, well, that's what I got from this book. That's exactly what I got. Now, this whole book, Scattered was the only poem that was by itself, 2 pages. Because what I noticed is like the titles, they connected, they ran into each other. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And I thought that was pretty authentic of you to do. I've never seen a poetry book layout like this before. And I love the actual pictures of yourself, because you do exude beauty, you know? You have beautiful skin. I'm serious, honey. I'm not here to play no games, because this book was fantastic. And so how did you come up with the book layout, the concept? Because it's ridiculously good. It's so good.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because it's like, it's self-published and everything. And I was like, I'm gonna do my best. Okay, I'll talk about that later probably. But okay, so the layout. Basically, quarantine. I was like, how could I do what I need to do here to stay creative? Because I'm a dancer, first on my creative side. And so I wasn't really able to dance as much because classes were shut down, like studios were closed down, all of that. I would go to my roof and do my little thing, sometimes dancing at my house and everything, but it just wasn't the same. Like, I wanted to be around a whole group of people, like we all just tearing it up for no reason.
Yes, honey.
And so because that couldn't happen, and I was like with like one of my good friends as well, and him and I were creating a piece together that was going to be performed for raw artists in Brooklyn, and then like that didn't happen. It was just I was just like, girl, I need to create something. So I ended up looking at the poems that I had written, and I was like, I can do something with this. And people kept asking me on TikTok to write a book, but they wanted like my self-said sis books, my self-said sis book, which is coming.
Yes, boo.
But before I did that, I was just like, okay, hold on. there's something else that I feel like I need to do. And then as we continued to go through quarantine, there were a lot of deaths that happened. And specifically, like, what I was paying attention to was within, like, the queer community, the Black queer community. And I was like, I'm a part of this community. And this, like, it was literally, like, making my body buzz, like, just how much, like, darkness that was there, like, what it was bringing up for me, even my story, like, me returning to moments in my childhood and things of that sort. So I was just like, okay, I got to do something with this. I ended up coming across a book called All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. And I went through a slew of emotions reading that book, but it inspired me so much to, like, to create for us. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do it. Forget it. Okay. So I started, like, putting the book together, just, like, with poems that I wanted to use that I felt kind of went together. And then as I kept, like, going to sleep, waking up the next day, looking at it, going to sleep, waking up the next day, looking at it. And I was working on this sometimes like 5 a.m. in the morning. I'll start in the morning. I would, like, kind of work a little bit, take a break, watch some TV, eat a little bit, and then be like, okay, let me go back to it. And then I'll be on it all night. But as I kept working through it, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Girl, hold on. You just recently posted some pictures. And the four photos that you see in the book, they were photos that I had recently took in my apartment. I took those photos in my apartment by myself.
Are you serious?
And, yeah, legit, like, with my arm out holding the camera, but I was trying to finagle it and give angles, girl, to, like,
honey, you did that. Yes. Hello.
I was like, I'm gonna truly make myself, like, a book that I can really put together. Now, as far as the last photo in the book, where I have on, like, I think it's a paisley shirt, that particular photo, my cousin took that for me. She did, she had got her camera. She was doing
this the bomb photo right there.
Thank you. And my cousin hooked up her own studio, and she was like, cousin, can you come over and, like, do a photo shoot with me? I was like, I got you, boo. So I went over, we did a photo shoot. And then I was like, I'm gonna use this. Boom. And then the photo actually on the cover.
Yes.
My friend Liz took this photo, actually. Shout out to Liz Roche.
Hey, Liz.
My girl Liz took this photo, and it was during my birthday, my 29th birthday this year in January at the Rose Mansion in Manhattan. And I had a ball. I was like, just living my whole Pretty in Pink fantasy, you know? But yeah, so pretty much when it came to the concept of it, like, I also, like, I was talking to my older sister, because her and I collab on things, just creative-wise, period. Shout out to Juanisha Garner. I love you, sis. And I was kind of, like, showing her things, like, photos that I had written poems for, and then I was showing her some of the poems, and then I was like, you know, what do you think I should do with this? And just, like, through conversation, she was like, well, you do have different parts already, and I was like, okay, cute, let me start to work with that. And then I was like, oh my God. I was like, removing a veil, being able to see what's going on, it being like a journey.
Yes.
Your journey, you have light and dark moments. So that's balance. I was like, but ultimately you're trying to get to a space of being at peace nonetheless, because, like, happiness isn't the goal. Like, happiness should always be there because it's inside of you, but, like, getting to a space of peace where you could literally sit and not have a thought cross your mind and just relax, and then go back to that poem talking about, have you ever listened to the world?
Yes.
And that was one of my favorite poems, is listening to the world, doing what it do. Like, oh my God. But yeah.
Yeah, the universe is helping you write this book, because now I understand the transitional chapters, you know, the veil, you know, you can't see that well. You can see through it, but you can't see everything, you know? I also like the fact that you took your own pictures, man. I thought a professional did that, to be honest with you.
No, I was like, oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, like, how did you self-publish this book? I mean, it should be, like, on the shelves of New York and shit.
I appreciate it. I'm going to be real with you. I took this real cute MacBook Air that I got. I opened up Pages, and I did my jam. I did what I can do with what I had. I was looking and researching for publishers.
Okay.
But my thing is, I did not feel comfortable with the fact that the publishers that I was finding, they were trying to tell me that I had to submit my work in order for them to approve of it My roommate. I fucking love my roommate. She is my friend. I'm sorry. I keep saying roommate, and I don't even want to say roommate like that because I'm like, we live together, but no, like that is my friend. That is my boo. That is my girl. Like, just a bright, auraed being with a beautiful soul who is constantly working on bettering themselves, understands what balance is, and seeks balance and tries to grow, which is all that I feel like you can really, like, that's what I mainly expect from people, is just like you wanting to be who you say you're going to be, like holding yourself accountable, being responsible, and then also just doing your best, but caring about other people as well in the process.
Right.
If you drop down, you know that you're not going to try to bring somebody else with you just because you don't want to be by yourself. But be emotionally responsible and emotionally like intelligent enough to be like, you know what, I'm feeling like this and I don't want to shift it. Like, she just knows these things. She's conscious. So I'm just like, work. Anyway, that's my girl Shatea.
Hey, Shatea. She sounds wonderful.
She truly is. She truly is. But I'm so sorry. I forgot your question. What was it? Oh, how I came up with the book, how to publish it. Okay. So yes, I was looking for publishers, and I did not necessarily like the fact that they were like, submit your work, we'll let you know if we approve it, so then we can publish it. And I'm like,
okay.
I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm an artist, and I wrote about my spirit, my experience in life. This is my artistic expression, meaning that like it came from my mind, and you're going to tell me if it's good or not enough for somebody to buy it. And I was like, well, then who are you who did not live my life to tell me that my work is good enough for people to read or to want to read? Right. I can understand somebody being like, hey, can I help you market this? I can help you get people to like more people to see it. Okay, cute. But you telling me, to be honest, what you wrote here, it's not good. Nobody wants this. Okay, we'll see. So opposed to me like going down that route, and I'm gonna be real with you, like I was like, most likely I feel like it's gonna be like some white man, and that's what I won't have. So I was just like, me being a Black queer individual, I'm gonna go ahead and self-publish my own shit. I'm gonna see if the people who support me, who keep asking for these things, really do want to support, and if they're really down. And we'll go from there. If one person buys the book, then I know the book can sell. I actually had in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to just sell 35 books. And my first order was 110 books. And I was like, what the fuck? I was shocked. I was like, oh my goodness, girl, wait, what? And I called my mama. I was like, mama, guess what? And so like we were keying about it because my mother's my best friend. And she was just like, I told you, son, not to like shortchange yourself. When you said 35, I was like, ugh, girl, 35. She was like, but you know me, you always call me judgmental, so I don't want to, jump on your train. I'll let you do your shit. Well, you're right. It was more than 35. But yeah, so that's pretty much like how I got into the process of self-publishing. I just went on Google or went to Pages, wrote my stuff out, went to Google, did my research, self-publishers or places that would self-publish for me, put it together, and I, went ahead and had books sent to me so I can see what they look like. Oh, is the Wi-Fi cutting out?
Yeah, it was, but it's good now.
Okay. But yeah, went ahead and found the websites that I wanted to use, created some books on there, which was quite a bit of work. Oh my God,
yeah,
my eyes were tired.
I know.
The editing process is what was the hardest, because I would order a book and I'm like, okay, cute, I like it. And then I'm reading literally right before I even was about to start giving out the books. I read it one more time and I was like, I want to change this. I want to change it.
Damn.
I want to change it. And I was just like, I have 35 books sitting in my closet right now because it was from a batch that I ordered when I was like, this is it. And then I was like, wait, I want to change this. And the Capricorn in me is like, girl, it's not exactly on the word from the word grammatical. I've tried to put so many words together. The punctuate, it was all of that. And I was like, wait a minute, I just want to fix this a little bit. I want to just change it up. Because that was another purpose for the book as well, is I'm not an English major. I am not a person who finished English in college. I literally dodged English as much as possible, which is ironic that I wrote a book.
That is ironic. That's very ironic.
But like,
you dodged it all your life and still had to do it anyway. You're
right. Look. So I was like, what? But on my website, I have a blog and I post poems as well. It's also on my Instagram. But on my website, the very first blog that I post is called Welcome. And I talk about me not being a person who's going to sit here and use the MLA format. I'm not going to use the most correct way of speaking English. I'm like, no, we make up our own shit over here anyway. And stuff don't even be sounding right. I was like, so at the end of the day, I'm going to do this how I'm going to do it. It's going to reach who it's going to reach. And it's going to make sense to who it's going to make sense to. And I was like, don't worry about the sales. Don't worry about how much you're going to make. Don't worry about whether or not somebody's going to approve of it or disapprove of it, whatever. Like, I was like, no, bro, you're doing your art, you're doing you, and you're not giving a fuck about it. Are we ready? And then it was like, bitch, I don't know. Give me a minute.
Silly. I can imagine you talking to yourself like that. This whole book, it has your thoughts in it, and it's just like having your friend with you and stuff, like, because you're all the way there and I'm here. But I'm just saying, man, I learned a lot in this book. The word that stood out the most that I kept reviewing was, I don't want to fuck it up, folks. Folx.
Yes.
Please break it down, boo. Break it down.
Okay, so the reason why I end up choosing to use the word folks, so I would recommend doing research for anybody who's not familiar with someone spelling folks as Folx. And that's just because I'm going to give you a little bit of information that I know, but I'm not going to go too far into it just because I don't want to be a disservice. And there is more to it that I know I'm not going to remember. But the main reason why I chose to use folks is although the word folks, Folks,
right,
encompasses everybody. Mm-hmm. We're in this space where we're trying to be conscious of how we refer to people. Especially with their pronouns.
Yes.
Gender identity, it is a thing that is popular as of right now. It's not popular, but it is something that is now, that is a terrible way to put it. I didn't even say popular because that's making it sound like a fad, and that's what it's not. Mm-hmm. But expressing gender identity, talking about gender identity, it is now a topic that is being discussed finally.
Yeah.
Because if I would have it, I'm just like, can we get rid of it and just be the light beings that we are? Because this whole gender shit is making it complicated for everybody, because people are being born assuming that because they have an extra flap that dangles in between their two sticks.
You froze.
All of the...
You froze. I couldn't hear you.
Okay, did it go back on now? Oh, is it freezing still?
No, it's okay. There it is.
It's back?
It was my internet connection. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's back though.
Okay, work. I was like, ooh, this 5G better do what it's gonna do.
What you... up so bad. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Shoot. Okay, I think it's better now.
Okay, work.
Okay, we're good.
We're good?
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Your video is like, I can hear you. Your video is crystal clear. It just froze.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
It's back. Your skin looks fantastic, by the way.
Yours is froze. It's the light, baby, but thank you.
No, look, if the light is shining and you can see that it's clear, clean and clear and under control, what is it? What they talking about? Like, you know?
It must be... You are silly. I'm not gonna go there.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. I got completely lost off track because the freaking video kept freezing. So, you were talking about the word Folx, folks, and then you started talking about the gender identity, the words for the gender identity, and that was one of them. And you were also telling me that as an individual, I need to do my research on it so I can come up with my own understanding of it, because that's how you do it. You can't teach people like just verbatim. They have to look it up for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Right.
And I'm a firm believer of like, I'm at a space now where I am humble enough to say, I don't know. If I don't know what the whole answer is or anything, I'm not going to waste your time by telling you what I think, because you didn't ask me what I think. You asked me what I knew, and I didn't know. So I could ask you I could like offer to tell you what I think, and if you want to hear it, then we can go there. But I don't want to waste your time being like, one of my like pet peeves is asking someone like, hey girl, you know what this word means? They're like, oh yeah girl, hold on. I think it means this because one time da 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 da. And then you're like, okay, but do you know that for sure? And they're like, well, I'm not sure, but hold on, let me look it up. Well girl, I could have looked it up. I just wanted to know what you knew real quick. Yeah. So basically, I'm gonna give you a little taste.
I love you.
So basically, when it comes down to it, I use the word folks because I believe that it encompasses everybody, in everyone throughout the gender spectrum. I feel like when we use folks, it is still a part of that binary period where we thought everything is just like male and female. When you look at, you know, some of these different, what are they called? Some of these different tests or polls, they're like male, female, like what about everybody else? You know, what if you don't identify there? So folks, I felt like was still from that period. So when, as of recent, I started to see it more as FOLX. And now it's just like when you look at, for example, Latin X, like they'll add it on the X onto it to go ahead and create that, that inclusivity. And so of that word. So I have a feeling the camera might be cutting out.
It cut out. It's back on again though.
Okay.
So we have to go back. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Want me to explain one more time?
Yes.
Okay. So when it comes to using the word folks with an X, it is just to encompass everybody that's within that gender spectrum, not just male, not just female, even though it encompasses everybody. It's letting you know, no, we mean everybody within the gender spectrum. And I am using that more updated word, if you will.
Yeah.
Just so that way people can understand that I am trying to be as inclusive as possible, especially being a person who identifies with the spectrum of gender identity.
Yeah, well, that was a whole lesson right there, but it's also more to look into, you know, so I can understand the whole aspect of everything. But this was a good start, you know, a good start at understanding who you are and everybody else, like you said, folks, you know,
right? And
all of us.
What I hope to be able to achieve, like even from this like this baby of mine, what I hope to achieve is to like present people with information or present people with words or even thoughts that they're not used to, and they can then start to have conversations about it with people that they know, or even just start to look things up. Such is that, like if somebody's like, okay, hold on, wait, what is folks? What does he mean by non-binary? What does he mean by queer specifically? Because he's not using the word gay, or he's not using lesbian or anything like that. He's not using transgender. No, I'm using other terms.
Right.
So I kind of like want people to go about kind of expanding their mind a little bit, like even talking about spirituality. I want people to read some of the poems, like, and if they are confused, to hit me up and be like, girl, what did you mean? Because I don't think I caught this. In a lot of the, like, in every poem pretty much that I have written, you can find a ton of like double entendres and undercutting, like there's a lot of conversations that or a lot of topics I'm discussing within one conversation, but like you gotta really like dig and get up in there. So she is one that I feel like you could really break her down if you I'll put it like this. I'm a Scorpio moon. If anybody who knows about astrology, I'm a Scorpio moon. I am a Capricorn sun and rising. My Mercury is a Sagittarius. So knowing that information that I just presented you with, I'll put it to you like this. If you're reading my work and you're breaking it down and you're like, I don't know if she really thought that deep into it though for this to be what this is about. Most likely the answer is yes, I did. Because I would look at it back and be like, ooh, wow. Because I just also like to make up words and make up things as well, but it does make sense. And the people I kick it with, they know my vocabulary now. So they'll be like, oh, bitch, that was funny.
I do like your vocabulary. I just like the way you talk and everything and refer to yourself. It's dope to me.
There's a reason for all of it.
I believe you. There's a method to your madness. I know. So who are your favorite poets?
Some of my favorite poets, Jill Scott.
Yep.
Jill Scott. India Ari.
Okay.
Lucille Clifton.
Oh.
Lucille Clifton is, so recently a friend of mine, this was probably like, maybe about like 7 months ago or so, a friend of mine put me on her. And so much respect for Lucille Clifton, so much respect for her work, so much respect for her story. I end up purchasing from the Lit Bar, which I believe is like actually the only brick and mortar bookstore in the Bronx. And it's owned by a Black woman, I believe.
Oh.
Afro-Latina. But I end up ordering the book. It's the collected poems of Lucille Clifton, or the uncollected poems of Lucille Clifton. It goes from like 1965 to 2010. And
Wow.
I was just sitting in my bed the night I got it, and I just started reading, and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And like, Maya Angelou is like my everything. When it comes to writing, she was my first inspiration when it came to poetry. And I just remember like, when I was in a grade school, this was elementary school, and having to recite poems in front of the class.
Oh.
Still I rise, ready to go, like, what? You know? But by the way, Janae Aiko is also another one of my favorite poets. She writes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I'm about to check her out.
Yes. But let me keep going, sorry. But where was I at?
You were saying your favorite poets, Lucille Clifton.
So Lucille Clifton, what I really love about her is, and if you like, I mean, I'm pretty sure many people know who they are. There's a lot of Black creatives, writers, authors, and poets that I'm finding out about now, because it just wasn't presented to me when I was younger.
Yeah.
And at one point I would have beat myself up over that, because I'd have been like, girl, how did you not know? But I was like, first of all, how you gonna shame yourself about something that you like? First of all, that's not really gonna work. You get it. You're not gonna grow through shame. So I was like, I started saying to myself, okay, girl, how can we start to dig into this? Because we need to know. And I was like, let me just buy the whole book. But reading Lucille Clifton, what I loved so much was that she has the ability to say so much with so little words. And I was like, and I take a lot of words to say a lot of things. But, you know, I want to be able to shorten my poems. I want to be able to write something that's not 2 pages. I want to be able to write something that is a cute little 5 lines and it says everything. That, and since I was put on to Lucille Clifton, like, I've been evolving in my writing, and I feel like it's been changing even from me writing this book. What I post now, like on my Instagram and on my website, is already so much more different. And then my friend Jatea, she recently was playing, I think, mixtape Kendrick Lamar, and I was like, hold on. And we were in here, you know, we doing our thing, you know, and she plays this track, and it's like 2 a.m. at this point. And I was like, hold on, nope, run it back. I was like, because listen to this part. I was like, he's saying this, but I don't know if he thought this deep, but maybe he did, because he's already woke as fuck. I was like, but think about this, because this and this, but then this links back, but then take the last line and then go back to the first, and you can do. And she was like, bro, what? She was like, how the fuck you pick up all of that? I was like, girl, I don't know. I was like, but that little piece right there, he doesn't say it so much if you really break it down and like dig into the meat, girl, like get all the juice to the bone marrow, you know? And so then as of recent, I've been like, okay, now I need to get into Kendrick Lamar, because I know we think of these people like as artists with music and things, and that's very true. But like, I'm like, okay, well, if you just throw a beat behind it as well, then it's a song. So it's also a poem in its own self, if you will. And music is it's my everything. So, which is why a majority of my like favorite poets are musicians. And just with Kendrick Lamar, I'm like, I have to dive into him more, because he's most likely going to become a favorite because of how he writes and his mind.
Wow. Well, you said a lot right there. And yeah, I know what you mean. Like Kendrick Lamar and Jill Scott, these musicians, they really are poets. I mean, Tupac taught us that, you know what I'm saying? When you really look into the meat of the matter, like you said, like maybe they were saying something else deeper than that and they just said this instead. That's the part of being poetic, and it is what it is. So music definitely ties into poetry, no matter what, whether you're singing or rapping or beatboxing, whatever,
Right.
So I definitely agree. So could you read one of your favorite poems? Because I got to hear your voice, say it.
So I'm going to read, We.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the color, so all the colors within the book as well. I'm going to give you this little tidbit.
Okay.
So all the colors that are used in the book comes from the actual book cover.
Oh.
So like the brown that you see, I took it from like the color of my skin. The yellow I took from like the flower that was like in the back. The purple I took from the flower that was there. The pink I took from my like fur coat.
Yes.
Faux fur, I didn't know animals were hurt.
Good.
The blue also the blue came from my pants.
I see it. Yep.
I legit just I incorporated those colors. And it was perfect because I believe that colors have meaning as well. And I attach meaning to colors. Mm-hmm. And with the poem We that I'm going to read, W-E, I chose purple because I felt that the people I'm talking about are royal. They are royalty. Purple is that color of royalty. Purple has to do with your intuition. It has to do with you being able to open up and expand. And I feel like we are very much so expansive people.
Yes.
So yes, that's why I chose the color purple.
Okay.
6 feet, curly teeth, curls on fleek, and all the cakes to eat. Baby, don't be confused. I'm talking about me, yes. You heard me correctly. They call me honeybee because I taste so sweet. Substance is rich and thick like this body you see, but that's not all about me. Black is me. Queer is me. Strong is me. Resilient. I know you see. Caring is me. Loving is me. A nurturer to those I meet. Bathroom empty, just the mirror in me. Don't think I've seen me so thoroughly, but I love heat that's looking back at me. Been through a lot, you see, haven't always loved me, but history has taught me that love rained down on me. Naturally, because we're a nature people, you see, let's not pretend the golden hour has anything on we, the ones who glow so effortlessly. Now, this may have started about me, but it ends with we, because if it wasn't for we, then me couldn't be so free. So to my community, I say this: be free, be who you want to be. Authentically yourself in these streets, because they ain't got shit on we, the ones captured who broke free from the chains put on so happily on a people out of jealousy. Wow. Unique is we. Intelligent is we. Royal is we. With crowns that defy the laws of gravity.
Gotta snap it up right there, like we up in the club, baby. Yes. This is a beautiful poem right here. It says so much.
Thank you.
It just, I don't know, it just shows your personality. And it uplifts women like me. Like, if I'm feeling down on a rainy day, I want to go to this book and I want to read me inside of it,
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. That's legit what I want. I plan on putting out a collection of books, and I want all of them to be coffee table books. I want them to be the books that people sit on their coffee tables, or if you're in a coffee shop, that is one of the books that you will see sitting there, and it's something that someone picks up and they're like, "Oh, I see me in this. I am not a person who's Black. I'm not a person who's queer. I'm not this, I'm not that, whatever." You don't have to be exactly me, but to still be able to read these words and to see yourself is what I still want you to be able to see.
Absolutely.
So that is definitely the thing that I want.
You got it, baby. Kudos to you, Authentic Berns. Keep striving. Make sure you come out with that Hey Sis edition, okay? Because I will be waiting on it. You know what I'm saying?
I have some really dope ideas that have been brewing up for that one, and I feel like she's gonna be a fun one. I'm so excited with the shit that's been coming up.
Well, I'm here for it, and I can't wait till you bring it out. And please bring it to Speak Your Mind, okay? Well, I'll be looking for it anyway.
I got you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming on tonight's show. I really appreciate you. I'm a big fan of you, you know, and I'm gonna keep following you for real. Doing all your TikToks, whatever else you want to throw at us, you know, your dance videos, your tarot card reading. You're so eclectic, man. You're just so talented. You're like a breath of fresh air in the community, for real.
Thank you so much. I've already told you, like, I am inspired by your consistency. You are one of the most consistent people that I see through the webs, where I'm like, she stays on top of her biz. Like, you can tell that you're passionate about this, and it's exciting. And to be honest, that is like more than enough for people like me. And I want to see you grow and just flourish as high as you feel like you want to fly. But like, it is great being able to see somebody being just consistent. And I know people sometimes don't see themselves as being an inspiration. They're like, well, I just do this. And I say that shit sometimes too. But it's like, no, like, something that we may see as small as consistency is actually a major inspiration, because there's so many of us who have an issue with being consistent. And in whatever it is that we're setting our mind to, you know, for whatever reason.
Thank you. I appreciate those words. Like, you're always right on time. You pick up people's energy like no other. You are me and I am you, if that makes sense or whatever. I mean,
thank you.
That's all I can say. Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I try to get people to understand, that you are me and I am you. I love you just because you are me.
Exactly. And I love me.
And I can still be at a distance, because there's part of myself that I stay at a distance from, and I approach when I need to approach it. And that's called balance. But at the end of the day, I still love you, though. I don't need you to love me for me to love you, because I love me anyway, and you are me. And I know that we're one.
And I love myself enough to love you too, like, regardless, because you're not bringing me down. Balance and boundaries.
Right. And the only way that you're trying to bring me down is because you may be lacking some love somewhere, and I understand that, because I know what that's like. So instead, I empathize.
Yeah, thank you, Authentic Berns. I appreciate you. Like I said again, you ain't nothing but a blessing, man, for real.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure being here. Thank you so much again for having me.
You're welcome. Peace out, y'all. And don't forget to check out this episode on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and now as of yesterday, Amazon Music. Not yesterday, a month ago.
Wow. Congrats.
Okay. Thank you. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.